Hey everyone, Drattle44 here. So yeah, basically I thought today, you know what, let's do something a little different now. I haven't posted a video in a couple of days, and it's like anything, isn't it? So basically, bottom line, Apex Legends Season 6 has been a little bit of a struggle in comparison to, previous seasons, probably because of a lot of changes that they've made. Now, I'm not saying that it's impossible to adapt, it's just going to take a bit of time, I feel, and I'm not really personally liking the reduced time to kill. So I thought, well, you know what, let's give Titanfall 2 a go. Now, you can see in sort of the beginning, what I love is it is actually very, very like the old Modern Warfare games, which I really used to enjoy. And of course, Respawn, they paired up and teamed up with Infinity Ward, and they brought us actually the Modern Warfare games. And I feel like they've really taken that and put that into this game and added some new things as well. Now, one of the interesting parts is that I have not played Titanfall 2 before. A friend of mine, Viper, he kindly actually bought this for me as a present. Very, very kind of him indeed. This actually is like the second day of me playing, so I'd had a few games with him the evening before, and this was a game that I actually had by myself. Now, one of the things that I noticed is that there are a lot of things that are very, very similar to this and Apex Legends. Now, of course, we all know that Apex Legends, it goes off the lore, so to speak, and the kind of style of Titanfall 2, and of course that they borrowed a lot of ideas from it. Now, one of the things that I have noticed is that the time to kill is quite low. But, of course, like all Modern Warfare games or COD or any type of these kind of first-person shoot-'em-up games, you die, you respawn, you get some kills, you die again, rinse and repeat. Now, one of the interesting things about Titanfall 2 that I really liked is, one, graphically, it's actually really solid. I mean, this game was made in 2016, and it feels really nice. Another thing I liked was actually that the movement felt a lot faster. Now, I always thought Apex Legends was very, very quick in regards to movement, and I think as far as a Battle Royale game goes, it actually is. However, Titanfall 2 felt a lot smoother, which surprised me. I thought that this game would be way worse. It didn't feel as laggy. And I'm not sure whether that is just me or whether it's, anyone's experienced that, but to me, especially since Season 6 has come out, I have felt that the game has lagged a lot more. Maybe they've changed a couple of things in regards to coding, maybe they've changed a couple of things in regards to other parts, which has made the game just feel a little bit slower. But even the movement generally before Season 6 felt a little bit more kind of sluggish, and it's not that much, to be fair. It's only slight. And yes, I have to say that I did shoot a friendly turret by accident. I thought it was an enemy. Still getting used to the game, and sometimes you can missee things. But as regards to this, I thought, well, okay, you've got a lot of mixture. You unlock guns along the way, so you're not kind of just finding them like you are in Apex Legends. Of course, you can kind of actually set your loadout to your own preferences. Now, I haven't unlocked that much, to be fair, but at the end of the match, you do feel like you unlock quite a few things. You get the Titans, of course, which either you really like or you really don't. You can kind of change around. Nice thing about it is that when you call them in, they're quite quick. They have a kind of a dome force field protection thingy, which is quite cool. But also as well, you don't have to actually jump into it, which is really, really sweet. In other words, you can actually let the AI control that. And you've also, then talking of AI, you've actually also got AI enemies. So you haven't just got, actual real live opponents that you're shooting at. Yes, I got killed by a Spitfire yet again. Feels like a reoccurring theme in no matter what Respawn game I play. LMGs are always going to be a nightmare. But I do like the fact that, you're scoring points. You can sort of amp your weapons as well, which again is something that you've ironically borrowed for Rampart. So you ramp up your or amp your weapons, and you get a kind of a weapons boost temporarily. But it was nice, and it's a really cool thing, and you get other abilities as well. There even is holograms that you can make of yourself, hence Mirage. There's gas canisters being fired around, which is caustic. There is a lot of borrowed ideas from this game. Now, they never said that they weren't going to do that, but I didn't realise, having not played this game before, I didn't realise how much they'd kind of stolen. Now, moving forwards, you know, I mean, when it made me kind of like look at this, it made me kind of think, well, okay, realistically, are they going to keep taking ideas from, you know, Titanfall 2 and of course, you know, move it into Apex Legends? And I've got a feeling that the answer is yes. Now, there is a kind of a mixed feeling. There's a part of me that says that, you know, the Respawn team are very lazy, and there's another part of me thinks no, they do work extremely hard, but they do cut corners. And, you know, I don't want to be that kind of person who puts a negative on Apex Legends, but, you know, I do feel like Season 6 at the moment is certainly a kind of probably the hardest season I've ever played. And I thought Season 3 was the hardest because World's Edge was a completely new concept, new map, didn't know it, and it spent a lot of time, I spent a lot of time trying to, you know, work out all the pitfalls, the bright sides, all that stuff. And, yeah, it took quite a while. Now, I do love the aspect of that you can jump out your Titan, you can jump around. You do also have STEM as well, which is really cool. And this kind of got me thinking, you know, like, why is Octane kind of as he is? I mean, I can see that they've used the STEM, but they've made him worse, and I didn't quite get that. So I have got some quite good concept ideas for Octane for another video, which I'm going to do, and obviously, you know, we'll talk about that as well. But yeah, I mean, there's the caustic gas canisters, you've got the Titans with these passive shields and various guns. There's various different ones, so light, medium, and heavy. You know, they've got different weapons, different abilities, some have a kind of like a sword thing. It's really quite cool. I mean, it's all a preference at the end of the day, but I did like the double jump, which again, I didn't understand why, you know, characters didn't have that as standard. Again, just not on Octane's jump pad, because I thought, well, you know, they've buffed Octane in sort of Season 5, Season 6, Season 5, well, yeah, Season 5 really, the Season 6 one didn't really count, but, you know, they sort of took the double jump from this game and said, oh, well, you can just jump on a jump pad and get a double jump. Now, the double jump and the wall running and all that stuff feels really, really nice. Now, I'm no expert at the wall running yet, that is something that I feel is going to come. You see a loot tick there as well, although they're explosive ticks that you have. Again, another bright idea for winning your cosmetics and things like that. So, you know, a lot of ideas that, you know, you would sort of see. And I mean, you know, the scope that I've got on the gun is also a scope available in Apex Legends. It's not exactly the same, and it's not one that I would, you know, ideally put on weapons, but actually in this particular game I thought the scope was pretty nice, so I have kind of quite liked that. And like I say, I'm only using the R201, I believe it is, which I'll hopefully be unlocking like other guns. I know I've seen the Hemlock, I've seen the Devotion, the Spitfire, of course, the Alternator. There's lots and lots of guns, even the Flatline, lots and lots of guns that reside, that have been taken from this particular universe and placed into Apex Legends. Now, Apex, you know, I feel like is an amazing game in many ways. You know, they kept the movement going, they kept the excitement going for Battle Royale. I think the biggest thing is just a couple of little changes, like I've said in previous videos, especially probably the Vault, I think, is maybe the biggest issue. If they're going to leave everything else the same, the time to kill and everything, I think they just need to kind of look at energy weapons in general. And that was the thing, it was quite refreshing, because, you know, you don't in this game get killed by things such as, you know, energy weapons so much. I didn't come across too many people with a Vault, for example, although I know it is obtainable. Devotion, I didn't see that much either, but probably because I'm a newer player, it probably matchmakes me against maybe players that aren't so, you know, up to top compared to others, I suppose. But that's how it felt. But I love the movement and the sort of like the sliding through. You know, you had options, you could get away. Sometimes you just got shot by some guy there out of nowhere. You know, the delay was slightly there. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a game made in 2016, and sometimes you think that there's a person there and you shoot wildly at absolutely nothing. Yeah, I guess there's a few things to learn, but in regards to you know, moving around and repositioning and sort of like learning things, actually I did find that when I went back to Apex Legends for a little bit, I had a few games with JHD yesterday. We had a couple of good matches and I got less frustrated with the whole thing as well. And you know, I felt that really helped. I feel like Apex Legends is a kind of a momentum game. If you're having a bad run, unfortunately, you do tend to continue that run. It's very, very hard to get off track. And whereas, you know, if you're having a couple of good games, you tend to be a little bit less frustrated. Now, I am not saying, I mean, like, at the moment, I've made my thoughts and my feelings quite clear to anyone who does watch my videos, that Season 6 doesn't feel very good. And that's kind of why, you know, I sort of jumped on Titanfall 2. You know, I thought it was a really, actually, a much more amazing game than I realised. And, you know, my friend Viper buying this for me was just like, you know, really, really kind of him, and he didn't have to. But, you know, that's what I guess good friends are for, and you know, all that sort of good stuff. But, you know, I thought that, you know, generally the movement, the stim, sorry, was really, really good. I loved that you got that sort of like speed boost and health boost, kinda, but you didn't lose any health for doing it, and it just like felt amazing. You know, you can't use it all the time, you can't just keep spamming it. There is a cooldown period, which again makes sense. But it got me thinking, like, why isn't Octane like that? You know, why doesn't Octane have a stem where it doesn't affect him and doesn't, like, rinse off his health and things? Because, you know, he is a character that is much in need of a look at as regards to a buff, and I think he's probably the one character that maybe needs the biggest buff in Apex Legends at the moment. And there's a couple of other characters that I feel that aren't in the best places at the moment, but I think Octane is definitely in the worst. And I was like, well, this stem is amazing. You know, you had like these grenades that you could throw. Again, there's various different grenades. You could unlock different things. The time to kill very short, and sometimes you'd get shot by that guy you couldn't see. But you know, it's still quite a nice thing. You have like countermeasures for your Titan. So if someone tries to jump on and sabotage it, you can add like different motions. Still getting used to that a little bit, which you'll kind of see, because I still kind of don't know exactly how you activate certain things, but you know, like the Titan is really cool. I'm using it as like a Scorch Titan, which fires like a cannon thing. There's various different ones. I've unlocked a couple, but this one I was kind of leveling up as well. And I'll use a couple of others just to try them all out. There's one with like a sword and stuff, which looks really cool. And you know, you gain points for shooting the AIs, you gain points for shooting the Titans, gaining assists. You do gain points for killing, obviously, enemy pilot players as well. And it's really cool. And yeah, this is the part. So this guy grapples onto me somehow, and I wasn't quite sure how to kind of get him off. But then it does come up with like a countermeasure thing, which sort of says, you know, deploy an electricity or a smoke defense or whatever, and you kind of can get people off. And I think that kind of worked eventually. I think he kind of jumped, and then you can kind of, you know, get out of the Titan, run away, and survive, sort of thing, which is, I think, eventually what I kind of did. Because, yeah, I mean, like, obviously, you know, I saw my Titan getting blown up, which is a bit of a nightmare, and then, oh yeah, I got killed. One of those things. But yeah, I mean, like, I just felt like it's nice to have a change, and I think, you know, partly with any game that you play, you know, when you play a game a lot, you kind of see the good and you kind of see the bad. Now, I personally think Apex Legends is probably one of the best Battle Royale games I've ever played. I feel like it probably is the best one. I mean, in terms of speed and kind of like how it feels and movement and things, they have really kept a lot of what Titanfall 2 offers. It's not quite as good movement, which surprised me. The movement in Titanfall 2 is better, but it was close, and it offered a lot of different things, and I thought, yeah, okay, I can see why I really like Apex Legends. I can see why it's a Battle Royale game for me, and why I play it, you know, as much as I can. I think that, you know, Respawn, there's a part of me that says, well, okay, they are maybe borrowing too many ideas from Titanfall 2, and this means that, you know, it comes very easy to predict what kind of weapons we can expect, what kind of, like, new features, new characters are obviously going to just take abilities from this particular game. And I do feel like, you know, in as much as I try and kind of, you know, look at the positives, I do also say, well, you know, there is a little bit of laziness there as well, and it's not that they're lazy in regards to things like the music, which is incredible, the sort of like the story, the lore, all that stuff, they're brilliant at, and top class. But I do feel like in regards to the game itself, there is just a little bit of, let's basically do everything we can to not have to work that hard in comparison. And it's kind of a shame because, I think Respawn, yeah, they are a smaller company. I have heard of rumours of them being overworked, and I'm sure that they've overworked in certain departments. But I do feel like, when it comes to glitches and quality checks and things like that, I do feel like that is the one area where they really lack. And it's a shame. Because at the end of the day, I just want to see the game thrive and do really well and be the best game that it can be. But in the meanwhile, I thought Titanfall 2, if you haven't tried it, it is super cheap. I think it's not that much in the PlayStation Store, but if not, you can pick it up for quite a reasonable price off like Amazon or eBay or somewhere like that. And then actually, if you like Apex Legends, it's a game really worth giving a go, because absolutely it is a top-class game. The connection was incredible, the movement's great, the guns are awesome. You won't see anything different from Apex Legends if you played that necessarily, but the game impressed me a lot more than I expected. So this was like literally like one of the wins that I got. I thought it was really cool, and I thought I'd talk about it. An amazing game, definitely a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed it. So that is it from me. If you did like it, drop a like, subscribe if you want to see future content, but otherwise that is it for me. You take care. See you later. Bye.